Mrs. H and her vanished inheritance. This is Mrs. H. She was referred to Greg by her new financial advisor, who was concerned her investment portfolio had lost a considerable amount of money, almost £1 million. This is Greg. Greg is a pension and investment mis-selling consultant, and it became clear to him that poor performance was not at the root of the problem. The new investment manager provided him with a breakdown of the transactions on the portfolio going back to the very beginning. They were unbelievably complex. Although the money was mostly Mrs. H's through an inheritance, her husband had been given charge of the portfolio. Unknown to Mrs. H, she and her husband had about 8 accounts in joint and individual names, and what they showed was money coming in from the portfolio and being spread around the accounts and then disappearing, either in spending or further transfers out. Sadly, the truth was out. Mr. H had been taking money out of the portfolio for his own use. Over 8 years, he had removed nearly £1 million. By this time, Mrs. H was divorced, and to add insult to injury, Mr. H had kept another chunk of the portfolio in the divorce settlement. She was devastated, but knew the money was gone. The best Greg could do was analyse the investments that she had been recommended to have, and, having found some which he believed unsuitable, tried to gain some measure of compensation for her. In the end, he proved considerable loss had been suffered due to the unsuitability alone, and compensation of more than £90,000 was achieved. Although only 1/10 of the amount lost, it did at least provide some comfort for Mrs. H, and boosted what was left of her portfolio by more than 1/3. If you're worried about your own investments and think you could benefit from expert advice, call Greg on 0151 329 0775 or visit pension-claims.com. Greg offers a no-win, no-fee service.